This is Tabletop Weekly, and we are the partners of Solarian Games.
I am Jason.
And I'm Peter. And this week, Dovecote for scheduling your game night. Total Party Killers is the new Dungeons & Dragons comic book miniseries. Games Workshop, Nukes, another 3D printer, and his entire community.
Jeez.
That's not funny, but it is. I mean, whatever. Struggling board game company CMON cancels $2.1 million investment in NFT video game firm.
Jeez.
Yeah, right. And lastly, Paizo, this is good news, announces plan to keep Archives of Nethys alive.
All right.
It's a nice update. We did that story last week with bad news, and
now
this week
we
got
the
good news. Yeah, it's excellent.
All right.
All right, let's start. Let's start with Dovecote. Now, this is something I just happened to come across. It wasn't like in the news or anything like that, but it's kind of new. And
sometimes we just want to talk about cool stuff.
Yeah.
We can do that.
We can. This is called Dovecote, and it's by if you go to dovecote.shufflewick.com.
Shufflewick.
Shufflewick, yes.
Shufflewick.
Yeah, that's a cool name, right? Shufflewick. I am
sure.
Shufflewick.
Yes, I like it. I like it. It sounds like it might be dirty. I like it.
It is a free scheduling tool that helps you get from group chat to game table faster. So you could use this for gaming. You could use it for a lot of things, actually. But it's one of those things where, like, you've all done this, right? Where you have this event that you're going to do or going to go to, or you want to set up a game night. And you're trying to get 5 people on board, say.
Yep.
And you're trying to say, well, what's not good for you? Is Saturday? Well, I don't know about Saturday. What about at 3 o'clock? Are you 3 o'clock? Oh, wait, no, Saturday's not good for me. Oh, let's do Sunday. Well, no, Sunday's not good for me. And the back and forth and back and
forth. It sucks.
So what this does is it solves all that. I mean, this is elegant because it's like 3-4 clicks and you're done. So you go here, you create an account. Of course, that's the hardest part, is creating your account, which is nothing.
Sure, that's fine.
So you click on this thing, and then it pulls up this scheduler. So if you're looking on
simple, it looks real simple.
It is. If you're looking at our screen, if you're listening to this, just go to Dovecote, you'll see it. But then you put in your dates. So you say,
well, first of all, it's just yellow and black already. I like it. It's not full of a bazillion colors, and it's simple
as can be. This is like they took like the Steve Jobs approach to things. Don't put anything on here that doesn't need to be on here.
Cool.
So anyway, so you pick a bunch of dates, you give it a name, you save it, and then you send all your folks a link. And then when they click on the link, this calendar will come up, and you just pick the days that you're available. The days are already on there. You pick the days that you're available out of the ones that are available. So let's say it's every Sunday, and you can see, if you're looking on the screen, you can see that every Sunday is lit up. Said, okay, every Sunday is good. And then what you would do is you would go in there and you'd say, okay, well, I'm good for the first and third Sunday. And then you hit submit, right?
Yeah.
Well, then everybody does this, and then it puts it in a chart, and the bottom image, if you're watching, you can see that the first person is available every day. The second person is available the second and the fourth. And the third person is available the first, second, and third. So that means that everyone is available on the second week. Boom, settled. That's it. That's when you're having it. Simple as can be.
Yeah. Okay, there's already something I like a lot about this, and it's a really subtle thing, but whether you're talking about using this for game night or something else, so there are tools out there that do things like this, no surprise, right? One of the most popular ones is called Calendly. Have you ever used that?
No, I have not, but God, it sounds like a web, it sounds such a web name. Calendly.
Oh, it is. It's 100% is from one of those times when nobody could get their own .com, and you'd take all the vowels out, or you'd put .ly or .ly at the end or something. Yeah, it's all that crap. So Calendly was created to solve the problem of people trying to find a time to meet. Right? Not necessarily a group of people. It was initially for like just 2 people, but I think they do groups, whatever. But the thing is, it's pretty good. But there's something about it that when you're getting ready to meet with somebody and they send you a link and they say, go to my Calendly. And it's just something kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but there's something a little bit obnoxious about it. It's almost like you're telling them, you know what it's like? If you ever dealt with somebody who you want to get together and they say, my assistant will get a hold of you. You can talk to my assistant to schedule the time, right? And you're like, oh, who are you? Who the fuck are you? You got my assistant is. Why don't you talk to my people? My people,
talk to my people. Right.
And there's just something about the way the Calendly is set up that, like, when you send it to somebody, there's almost this little like, here, peasant, look at my calendar and you do the work. This is how busy I am. You choose the time. And it's like, I can't get over it. And I'm not the only one that feels this way. I mean, this is something that I've seen discussed over and over again online and even in person. People are like, what is obnoxious about that? I don't know. And what's obnoxious about it is that with the Calendly thing, it's positioned like I am this important person and you will go find time on my calendar. But what these guys are doing is saying, we are a group of people that want to do a thing together. Nobody's the fancy person. This is just a bunch of people together doing something. There's none of that pretentious snobbishness in this. It's just normal. Yeah. It's just normal.
I just love that it's so watered down and just so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so in case you're just listening, it's Dovecote, DOVECOTE.shufflewick, SHUFFLEWICK.com.
I don't know what any of those words mean, but it's cool. I don't know what a dovecote is. It's not a coat like you wear. It's COTE.
I have no idea.
But it's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it's a short one, but I just thought it was really cool, and I thought something our gamer crew could really get on with.
Huh. Neat. All right. What do we got? Oh, another story. I'm going to tell a story. All right. Here we go. Total Party Killers. All right. So this one was I got clickbaited into this thing. Somebody put up a thing saying there's a new Dungeons and Dragons series officially happening. Like the way they wrote it was a new D&D series is officially happening.
Oh, and I'm like, I hate when they do that. God damn it.
Yeah, I thought it was a TV show.
Right. They do it with movies too. Like, oh, the sequel to this movie's out and it's a comic book series. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. And also, I hate it when people say, this is officially happening. What does that just mean that you said it? Like, I'm officially mad now. Well, were you amateur mad before? What the? Yeah, okay. Right. Anyway, so I was like, I got clickbaited into it, but then I looked at it and like, it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool. So, what is going on is they have done a comic before. And this is like the next series. It's just a mini series, and by mini series we mean 4 comics, so no big deal. But this is going to be done by a very cool writer, Christopher Hastings, who did The Adventures of Dr. McNinja. Did you ever read that?
I did not.
Oh, Dr. McNinja is so good. Dr. McNinja was a web comic first, and then moved into comics. And I'm just going to read, like, we have a Dr. McNinja up here right now. So he's a ninja who's a doctor. Right, so he's got his ninja sword on and his ninja face mask, awesome. And he's got his patient on the table, and he's doing the thing where he's thinking to himself. And outside of the operating theater, there's a gorilla, and the doctor's thinking to himself. Dr. McNinja is thinking, I have no idea what my gorilla receptionist is saying. And outside, his gorilla's going, ooh, ooh, cock, cock. He's like, I have no idea what my gorilla receptionist is saying, but I do know that this boy has Paul Bunyan's disease. And if I don't operate right now, he'll transform into a giant lumberjack.
Oh, God. All right. That's awesome.
And then there's a little side, Doctor, raptor riding Mexican bandits are ravaging the town.
All right. Of course.
So that's Dr. McNinja. It's so good. So I'm like, yeah, this guy can totally write me a D&D book comic. That sounds like a great idea. Like we talked about this before with the D&D movie, right? That the problem a lot of D&D properties have had in the past is they try to be so serious. Right. And they're like trying to be so pleased with themselves and so like, oh, we're the very serious D&D and it's got to be a scary drama action thing. But anybody who's ever played D&D knows that is not what it's like at the table.
Right.
So the movie was like what it's like at the table, right? They're making all the jokes and everything. So I think we're going to get a lot of that here in Total Party Killers. Also, the artist Dennis Medry has done some great stuff, including some Spider-Verse and things like that. Yep. So it's a 4-issue comic book, released its first issue on July 22nd. So it's actually the first one's already out. You can get it. Yep. And these covers are so good, right? it's a monster party, and you see a beholder with a bunch of loot in his mouth, and yeah.
Well, that's the best part of this, right? Who are the heroes?
Oh yeah,
They're a monster. They're the heroes.
yeah.
They're the protagonists of the story.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
a
thought that was pretty
ragtag
cool.
group of monsters. It's a lycanthrope, werewolf or whatever, weir something, a mind flayer, a death knight, and a baby beholder.
Yeah.
The baby beholder's got his stuff in it. He's Papa turn you to stone.
I have
Papa,
treasure.
Papa can turn you to stone.
Right.
When the wizard Custos dies, his magical lair is left unprotected and open to raiding adventurers. Oh, those adventurers. The monsters bound to the lair must defend it unless they can trick someone into releasing them. Things escalate when the iconic lich Valindra Shadowmantle, good, Valindra Shadowmantle attempts to subjugate them for her own evil plans, forcing the monsters to quest across the Forgotten Realms to secure their permanent freedom. So
just real quick, I love this because the story is something completely different. It's something I think I could definitely get into reading. Definitely different, a completely different angle. It starts to sort of humanitize and like understand the monsters. Like, why are these monsters in the dungeon? Oh, they're bound to it. Do they want to get out? Of course they do.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And it reminds me, a couple of years ago, a friend of mine who was our regular GM, he got sick and he kind of had to take some time off from gaming. And it was really sudden. So I took over for the group and I asked the guys, what do you want to do? You can do whatever you want, anything you want. You tell me, I'll make it happen. And they wanted to play a fantasy campaign because we haven't done that in forever. And I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. And then they were like, but we would like to play, and I don't even know how we went back and forth. They're like, we want to play like goblins or something. We don't want to play humans. We want to play like the other side. And I was like, a campaign where you guys are the typical monsters. Okay. And we did. We ran a whole campaign and they were the heroes and they were like very heroic, but they were all goblins. And it was actually really cool. I had a very good time with it.
That's awesome. Yeah. This is like that. This is so fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading it. Honestly, I kind of wish it was more than 4 comics now.
Yeah.
But 4 is good. So yeah, so we got the Monsters Adventuring Party. I'm not going to read all their names, but 2 of them I am. There's a gelatinous cube wizard named Mucus Cubus.
That's awesome.
And the adorable baby beholder's name is Looksy.
Looksy, perfect.
Looksy. I mean, that is an adorable baby beholder. So I'm ready for this. I'm ready. Bring it on.
Yeah. And there is so you can buy the individual comics or you can get the paperback collection, which you have to pre-order. Obviously, they don't want you to get the 4 issues before everybody else gets a chance at them. But you can buy either one.
Yeah, I would buy the trade paperback whatever that's called.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Because I want to put it on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
Comics in my house, they get lost. They don't get taken care of. So I need the book.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So this next story is, we laughed. It's not funny for this guy. And it's kind of unfair, but also I kind of understand it. So anyway.
Okay. Well, you know what I think of the word fair, so we'll see.
Right. So Games Workshop has tanked this guy's channel. So killed his Discord server's been removed. His YouTube channel's about to be removed. And a lot of his Instagram posts, or some of his Instagram posts as well. And what seems unfair is that this guy, he himself actually didn't do anything wrong. So,
oh no, it's even worse. Okay, so okay, unfair. Yeah, all right.
Okay, that's why I'm saying unfair. He actually didn't do anything wrong.
Okay,
he's just a guy who has a YouTube channel. He purchased and downloaded these 3D models, printed them, and was showing them off. Now,
I'm assuming he downloaded them legitimately.
Yeah. There's a web. No. He didn't pirate them. There's a website, and I've used it because I do 3D printing and stuff. It's a great site for great models. It's called My Mini something. I want to say Mini Factory. I think it's My Mini Factory. Okay. But they have like
don't go there, anybody, because you'll get nuked. Okay.
No. Only if you have a YouTube channel where you're showing it off. The site.
Well, hide that picture. Hide the picture. We're gonna get nuked.
Oh God.
What are you doing?
There we go. We'll look at. Hold on. I'll just do this. Anyway, we're not going to get nuked. Anyway, so it's the guy's site is called. He goes by the name Propane Prod. Kind of a dumb name, but whatever.
I mean, maybe he prods propane.
I guess sure. And so he downloaded these models. He was printing them out, and he was talking about them with his audience, with his fans, because he prints them out, paints them, and talks. Right?
Yeah.
Well, they're not even stolen from or pirated from Games Workshop. They are just similar. They're very similar. And when I looked at them and I looked at Games Workshop stuff, yeah, I could see there's heavy inspiration.
Okay, they look too much like the.
They look too much.
I get it.
So, so the biggest reason why this story is important is because if you have a channel out there, you're doing something, be very careful. There are certain companies that are very vigilant about their trademarks, right? And Games Workshop is probably one of the most vigilant I've ever heard of. Because they've done things where like somebody called something a Space Marine and they sued the crap out of them, and it's just like, you didn't invent the word Space Marine.
That was
somehow
yeah,
I know, but somehow Games Workshop seems to have managed to be able to sue people over it. At any rate,
so I'm a little unclear exactly on what they. Okay, first, before we say what happened or whatever, the issue here is not a legal one in the sense of a lawyer going, this is a corporate policy one, because YouTube will take action against you based on their policy that you might even be legally in the right, but they also have a legal right to do whatever they want with their private platform. Sure. Just like you can get trespassed out of a restaurant for starting a scene, and you can be like, my First Amendment rights, and like, whatever, we're a private company, we can kick you out.
Yep.
And so YouTube can kick you off YouTube even if you didn't break the law, because it's a private company. So never mind whether that's ethical or moral or right, it's legal.
Right.
So it sounds to me like he didn't even get kicked off for breaking the law. He got kicked off because YouTube has a policy that they enforced. Is that right?
Well, here's the interesting thing. So this is all, it's crazy. There's so much third party stuff. So the company that initiated the strike is a third party company. So someone that Games Workshop hires. They use an AI to find. Okay. So,
yeah, I mean, I get it. They do that because they rather than hiring their own employee to sit there and look at the internet all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he has made appeals to YouTube, and YouTube just keeps rejecting him.
And I still want to be clear about this. The thing that he allegedly did wrong was to show the model, or that he printed it, or what?
Just that he's showing it.
So he said, I bought this 3D model from a site.
Yep.
And here's the model I bought, and it looks like Space Marine.
Yeah.
And the Games Workshop mercenary said, that looks like our property. We're going to get a strike on you for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. It's ridiculous, but I understand.
Here's the crazy thing. The website where he bought it from is up. I went to it and looked at it. It's where I pulled that picture from. I pulled it right from the site. And they're not getting shut down or anything like that, because they're not really breaking the law, but because you can make a complaint on a YouTube channel, and YouTube can shut your channel down. Again, he's not in trouble. He's just losing his YouTube channel, which sucks.
It really sucks if he's built up. I mean, it's hard to build up a YouTube channel. I mean, God, yes, I don't know. I've never done that. We haven't done that. But,
we still haven't done that, right?
But yeah. So like the guy who actually makes the things, you'd have to come after him in court, and that would be, maybe it's hard to prove, maybe it's not worth their time. Whereas you go to YouTube and you're just like, he's got my stuff, and YouTube goes, okay, fine, we take it down, because there's some, I was going to say there's some underpaid worker in a country you've never heard of, but it's probably not even that. It's just a bot now.
It's probably a bot, yeah. And so now, to defend Games Workshop, because I want to be fair about this.
Let's be fair.
There are a lot of people who are, 3D printing is really hurting the miniatures market big time. And people are 3D printing stuff left and right, and
home taping is killing the music industry.
Well, no, but I mean, it is hurting.
I know. No, it really is. It's just funny because sometimes you think of that. Anyway,
but there's nothing to stop Games Workshop from going into the 3D business selling their models, but whatever, it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is that it is hurting them, so they're trying to be vigilant about protecting their property. because nothing stops someone from just remodeling their stuff from site. I know guys that are talented enough that they could just literally recreate them in 3D and then sell them. So it's
And
a
there's
fine
people
line.
out there. There's plenty of ways that you can just use generative AI to create
Hmm.
a 3D model,
Oh,
and
that's a real thing now.
yeah, so for people's home games, and I'm not going to comment at all on the ethics or morality of that. Let's just set that all aside for a second. Let's only talk about the technology.
Hmm.
If you are a miniatures gamer and you want to print a great big army,
Hmm.
you don't even have to buy them from the site. You just go to your whatever AI you have that says make the
Hmm.
thing for me, print it on your 3D printer, and now you all you got to do is paint them. And I'm sure that'll get robotized at some
I
point too.
I tested one out just to see where the
Hmm.
technology
Sure,
was,
just to see
and
what the technology is.
it's scary. It's
Yeah.
good. Like I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is going to upset a lot of people.
I mean,
Yeah.
Games Workshop is dealing with something that a lot of industries have had to deal with. The music industry dealt with this. If everybody remembers Napster, you
Hmm.
know, and they had to completely change the entire industry's business model. So now we all stream Spotify and nobody buys a CD anymore
Right.
because you stream your Spotify. And other industries have just disappeared.
Hmm.
Some just disappear. In this case, what would happen to Games Workshop? You and I and Scott were talking about this the other night about the innovator's dilemma,
Yeah. Yep.
which is that things are always going to advance and change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Sometimes technology is an advancement, sometimes it isn't. But things are going to change, and so whatever product you're selling today, at some point somebody's going to come along and they're going to take your business. So the only way
Hmm.
to survive is to see them coming and do it before they can. So Games Workshop at some point is going to have to say, hold on a second, we cannot make our entire business model making miniatures because everybody else can do it too.
Right.
But
Yep.
for today, they haven't realized that yet. And so they got their Pinkertons, or whatever the equivalent of
Hmm.
that is, going out and shutting down some guy who all he did wrong was to show that he bought something from a place that they don't like, which
Yeah.
is shocking.
Yeah. That kind of. I mean, it does suck. I feel that.
I hope this
So.
guy gets some kind of Streisand effect to help him out.
Oh, well, hopefully, yeah.
That people, I don't know how much attention this is getting around the world. I think we saw this on wargamer.com.
Hmm.
But I hope this gets a lot of attention. So, not because I want Games Workshop to get raked over the coals. They get
No,
enough crap from people anyway.
they do. Yeah.
They do. But because I want this guy, well, you know what? Maybe he's a jerk. Maybe he's a terrible person. I should say right at the
Mm.
bat, we don't know who he is.
I
So
don't
if
have
I'm
any idea
saying,
who's. Yeah.
I'm going to say, I hope he does great. And then if it turns out later that he's a milkshake duck, and
I hope he does terrible.
then I hope he does terrible. But right now, I don't know him. So I'm going to assume that he's a good guy and that everything works out for him.
Yeah, yeah. So Brian says that at 28 millimeter, you don't need super accuracy for a tabletop game. That is
Yeah,
true. That's true.
that's
Now,
true.
I will tell you though. I mean, I got a resin printer, and it will print. Oh my god, the clarity it prints at even these super tiny scales, it's amazing. So,
Well, this actually has me thinking a little bit though, because what Brian just said about you don't need super accuracy. So a lot of times, if you are being involved with wargaming, people are going to say you don't bring unpainted minis to my table, right? You've
yes.
heard
Oh
that,
yeah.
like no
Oh
unpainted
yeah.
minis.
That's why I never got into Warhammer. I didn't have time to paint all those
Right.
things.
And like in Blood Bowl tournaments, they'll usually have a rule they have to be painted. And I've seen people literally show up with their Blood Bowl teams where they just have like a stripe of red across it. And they're like, there, it's painted. Shut up.
Oh god.
But anyway, uh, so the accuracy thing got me thinking about what does it matter? You have to do all this painting. Uh, I like to watch a lot of TV from the 70s because
Hmm.
I still live in the 1970s, despite the fact that we're here on computers.
Right.
And I really love this one Bob Symes. He was a model maker and he made trains and painted all the things. And you look at the stuff that he was doing in the 70s, just building everything with such incredible technique and to such detail out of just nothing at all. And there was
Hmm.
even another guy who had a wargaming show on British TV in the 70s where they would
Yeah.
literally do historical miniatures wargaming. And it reminds me of just how much that a big part of the hobby is just the joy of doing the work, of sitting there with the painting, doing all of that. Maybe printing out the 3D miniatures is part of that joy. Maybe it doesn't matter because you're buying them either way. But a lot of this stuff that Games Workshop is dealing with right now, I think what they're doing wrong is they're focusing so much on the end, on the outcome of it all. And maybe it's time to focus a little bit more on just the joy of doing it.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, I'm for companies like Games Workshop. I don't know how many miniature companies are out there still, but I'm wondering if we're going to see a blockbuster moment. Like, I'm wondering if that's going to happen. Like, will they all disappear and it'll all be 3D printing? Who knows? I don't know.
I guess the only question is,
see it.
Is the industry big enough to make that happen? You know, because Blockbuster disappeared because of Netflix, and everybody was using Netflix. You know, because that's mainstream, and this is not mainstream. So, is it big enough for somebody to find it worth their time to create that?
I have no idea.
We'll see.
No. Okay. All right. Now we can go back to pictures.
Okay. Now my mouse is hiding from me, so I'm trying to get to the story. There you are, mouse. Okay, great. Ha 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 ha. What's this? Oh, this is my story. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will be a quick one. Because this is board game time. We don't know as much about the board game world, but this is still worth talking about. So we've mentioned this a few different times before, that now this massive behemoth of a company, CMON, is now regularly referred to as struggling board game company, CMON. They've had a lot of different things happen. They had a $3 million loss in 2024, but don't worry, the numbers got better in 2025. They had a $20 million, a loss. $20 million loss. It got worse. So they're just, I mean, $3 million loss, $20 million loss. That's huge. So they've been selling things off, and we've talked about it before. They sold off Zombicide, they sold off Blood Rage, they sold off Cthulhu, Death May Die. They've had heavy layoffs. And here's the thing, why you don't necessarily need to have, well, I was going to say don't have too much sympathy for them, but do. Have sympathy for the employees that lost their jobs. Right. Do have that. But CMON themselves, they have 8 outstanding crowdfunding campaigns. Not one.
Not one, right.
Not 3. Not 7. They have 8 outstanding ones with over 45,000 backers waiting on them. Now, okay, that number might be some of the same people getting counted more than once if there's 8 campaigns, but still, that's a lot. That's a lot. And you know what? If you're the backer who backed 8 of their campaigns in a row without getting anything, check your wallet. It might be too fat.
Yeah, right. Send some of that my way.
Yeah.
We do campaigns.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, somewhere in this thing where they were, I don't know if this was them trying to make some money back or something, but they came in and they bought a 2.5%, more or less, stake in a NFT firm called Blissful Link. So if it, now, it kind of makes me happy that I have to remind people what NFTs are. Like, you remember NFTs?
I've heard those letters.
Oh, NFTs were going to change the internet. There were so many people saying this was the next big thing, and there were people blowing money on them left and right. It just stands for non-fungible token. It's just a proof of ownership of something on the blockchain. It just says, it's like a certificate of authenticity. So it says, this JPEG that I have is the real JPEG, and you can make a copy of it, but you don't have the NFT that goes with it, so you don't have the real deal.
God. You know what? I always thought that was the dumbest thing ever.
You know why you thought that?
Because the fuck needs that.
You know why you thought that, though?
Why? Because it's dumb?
Because it's the dumbest thing ever.
Right.
Because it really is. Nobody cares. I mean, look, a digital certificate of ownership is valuable if the underlying object is valuable. So if you're saying, here's an NFT proving that Picasso you own was really painted by Picasso, okay, yeah, that's good.
Okay, that's worth something. Yeah.
But if it just says, here's an NFT that said, I swear to God, people were issuing NFTs for tweets.
No, stop it.
Yeah, you could buy a tweet. And you'd be like, I'm the owner of this tweet. And they were getting crazy. There was those, I don't know if they were like apes or monkeys or gorillas.
Oh, yeah, it was the whole ape thing. I remember that.
Yeah, and
monkey,
people were
probably monkey.
People with more money than IQ points were paying millions and millions of dollars for these things, and then one day they woke up and realized that musical chairs was over. Nobody wanted to buy it, and
Right.
their $3 million NFT was worth nothing.
Well, here's the messed up thing with that with people with money. Then they get to write it off as a loss, and then they get to reduce their taxes. So for people with disposable income, it's not a loss. It's not really a loss for them. They write it off.
Yeah. Well, although some of them didn't really. So, like, let's say somebody bought a $3 million NFT and it went to zero. It's also possible that person probably bought it with Bitcoin. So that person might have spent $5 buying Bitcoin 10 years ago and had that $5 turn into 3 million. And then they take that 3 million and they buy the NFT, and then the NFT goes to zero. So what did they really lose? Right. It's kind of like the story about the guy who goes to Vegas with, $6 in his pocket, and he bets it all on the slot machines, and he wins $100,000, and he takes $100,000 to the blackjack table, and he loses $100,000. And they're like, "How'd you do?" He's like, "I lost $6."
Right. Exactly. So you're more familiar with the NFT type stuff and all the blockchain stuff. I do know that in the art world, it is frequently used to launder money. Like they'll artificially inflate a piece of artwork, and then they use it. It's very popular for it to be used to launder money. Can you do that with NFTs? Would that be something you could do with NFTs?
Yeah. Anytime that you can say, "Here is money that I spent on something, and it was a legitimate purchase, so you have to, yeah, absolutely. You can use all kinds of things to launder money. You can use a cash business where nobody knows how much is going in and out. Real estate's a good one because you can overvalue the real estate. How do you think they sold all those empty apartments in the Trump Tower? You think all those Russian oligarchs who don't live there actually cared what they were buying?
I want some of those people to move into this neighborhood when I sell my house, because I'd like my house value to go up.
Take that. Exactly. So, it could be done for that. So anyways, CMON, somewhere along the lines, one of their brain geniuses was like, we should put money into this company, Blissful Link. They had a game called Capverse, and I think they still do, where like you pay to play and you get stuff in the game, and maybe you think your value is gonna go up. I'm trying to be nice here, but there's a certain class of people who just want to make money. They don't give a crap whether that making money that they do creates any value anywhere in the world. Right. And the thing that this group of people loves more than anything in the world is exotic financial instruments. This is how we had the housing crash of 2008, because people were just looking for ways to say, if I put $10 here, I'll get $100 back. I don't care what happens on the other end. I'm going to wave my arms and say a bunch of magic words, and as long as I get my money out of it, I'm fine. And that's what's been happening here. It's just, like I said, it's musical chairs. The last person out doesn't get a chair, and they lose their money. So this is what CMON put their money into, and I'm a little confused about this statement here. It says the planned purchase of a 2.5% stake valued the loss-making NFT firm at over $95 million. So I think what they're saying is they bought 2.5% of a $95 million company. So they bought $2 million or $3 million.
Okay.
Anyway, their idea was that they were going to take their board game properties like Massive Darkness, Super Fantasy Brawl Reborn, and make them, and everybody who's not looking, I got air quotes here, they were going to turn them into high quality digital assets to secure new revenue streams. Buddy, I hope you've paid off your MBA. I hope it was worth it to say those words. So anyways, they've now said, we're not, I'm such a dummy. In the headline, we said this was a $2.1 million investment. I didn't have to do the math. It's right there in the headline.
Right.
I should watch our own show.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they've canceled their investment. They don't know what they're doing. And now it says they are focused on, I really like this sentence. Now they are focused on downsizing, avoiding speculative markets, and prioritizing the retail fulfillment of its existing backer commitments. So what they're basically saying is, we know that there are 8 crowdfunding campaigns that we have not delivered. We need to get that done. We need to stop screwing around with the speculative markets. And I think we're going to fire everybody.
Oh my God.
So I think, if CMON exists at this time next year,
I'm
I will
surprised.
eat a delicious cookie.
Yeah,
Not my hat. I mean,
I,
in case I'm wrong, I want something good to eat. I'll eat a delicious cookie. But yeah, they're not going to be around.
I don't think so. They're making some really poor decisions.
If
All right. Anyway,
you're in this business to get rich, avoid people like that.
yeah.
All right, let's go to good news.
Good news.
Let's do good news. Let's wrap it up on a high note.
Yeah.
tonight.
So we did a story last week that was kind of upsetting. Not upsetting to me, but upsetting, I know,
To a lot of Pathfinder.
to a lot of Pathfinder folks,
Yeah.
right?
So this is my story. Got
Is
my
it your
name on
story?
it. I got my
Oh, it
name
is
on
your
it.
story. I'm gonna.
We can say it together. You know, you want to you type on the left side of the keyboard, I'll type on the right, like in NCIS.
Okay. Then I'll shut the f up.
We'll do. I'll do the vowels. You do the consonants.
Oh my god. Go ahead.
All right. So, anyways, here's the deal. So we said before that Archives of Nethys was going to be de-licensed. Archives of Nethys, they've been the official online reference site for both Pathfinder and Starfinder for 8 years. This is like, if you're going online, you want to get your rules, you want to get your lore, all that other kind of stuff. Archives of Nethys has been the place that everybody's counted on. Because I guess they can't buy books. All right, I'll be nice. Anyway, so they've been providing rules of the game for free as a web-based directory, and they've been doing it under license from Paizo. Now, it's a little weird because this isn't the only thing Paizo has. I was trying to kind of understand because I'm not a Pathfinder player. And I have used D&D Beyond for a number of years. And so I was like, is this their D&D Beyond? Do they have something like that? Well, Paizo's a lot smaller than Wizards, we know.
Right.
So they don't really have something as... They don't have one single place like D&D Beyond, but they do have some tools. And it seems like this is one of the two biggest tools that people use.
Yeah.
So the other one is a thing called Pathfinder Nexus. And this is a little bit like a D&D Beyond site in that it actually has all the kind of tools that you can use to manage your campaign and keep your characters. It's run by a company called Demiplane, who I'd never heard of before. And it's actually pretty cool. So Demiplane creates these tools, these toolkits, for lots of games. They actually have one for D&D. They have Daggerheart, they have Traveler, Vampire the Masquerade. I saw Cyberpunk on there, all kinds of good stuff. And it's a freemium model, $4 a month for extra features, but you can use it for free. So there is already a thing like that, and I'm assuming that Paizo gets a kickback if people pay to do it. And but this thing, Archives of Nethys, is free. 100% free, always has been. And so Pathfinder doesn't get any money from them, which is a little weird because one of the things that apparently when they first made the deal and they said, we want to build this rules reference for you, they told Pathfinder they were going to pay, or they told Paizo they were going to pay royalties.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what they were going to pay them based on.
I think there was an intention to make money, but it never actually got to the point where it really did make any money. Right. So then, because Paizo, never mind, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry.
Sure. No, it's fine.
Yeah. No, they could have made money. It just never worked out that way.
Yeah. I don't know what their plan was. Because I don't see how Archives of Nethys is monetizing it at all. I don't know. It doesn't look like a business to me. It looks like a project that somebody does because they love it.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
But at any rate, Paizo revoked their license, but it wasn't as bad as all that. I thought it looked a little bit. I thought that it looked like people were freaking out a little too much because what they said was things have gone bad at Paizo. Not Paizo's fault. It was Diamond Distributors. They went bankrupt. It's having echoes throughout the industry. And so Paizo had to lay off a bunch of people. We talked about that. 12 people, 10% of their workforce. And so they had to do a bunch of different things. They reduced their Pathfinder Society and Starfinder Society offerings down to once a month. They stopped providing support for Foundry VTT modules. And then they said, we're also going to stop supporting Archives of Nethys. And that's probably the better way to say it. They should have said we're stopping supporting them.
Supporting it, right. Yeah. They didn't shut it down. They're not saying you can't do it.
All they did was they said, you can keep the rules database up, but we're not going to do early access for you anymore, and you have to remove all the copyrighted art.
Mm-hmm.
And in their initial statement, I thought it was fair. I thought it was maybe not a smart way to say it to the community, but it was fair, which was they said, first of all, we were supposed to get royalties and we didn't. But that they've said very clearly that wasn't the real reason. They said the
Mm-hmm.
main thing was that it was costing them money to support it because as a licensee, they still had to have their lawyers pay attention to it all the time, check
Mm-hmm.
on contracts. They had to have employees to check any kind of statements, going back and forth with them, licensing staff to provide the assets.
Mm-hmm.
They had to spend money to support this thing. It wasn't making them any royalties and it was costing them money. And so they said, listen, we're not going. It even made some confusion because the community was like, well, what's community use and what's not? Because they have it, why can't I use it? And
Mm-hmm.
it became difficult for a Paizo who had all these things to deal with. And they thought, well, we'll just, stop supporting them. And people got really loud about it.
Yeah.
And so, to their credit and to the community's credit, now the community's credit especially because they clarified their position and they changed their mind a little bit. And a lot of times, I mean, we're going to say what they did in just a moment, but a lot of times when a company does something quote unquote wrong, something that upsets the community, everybody gets their internet radar in a bunch and they get all upset and they scream and they kick and it's unfair and they throw their toys out of the pram. And then when the company goes, okay, you know what? Maybe we handled that wrong. We're going to change it. Then everybody pouts and they cross their arms like, well, I don't trust you anymore. You're not an ally or whatever.
Right.
People didn't do that. People actually welcomed them back and they were really cool about it. So good deal. So here's the new rules or the new
Mm-hmm.
situation. Archives of Nethys will remain an official rules archive for Pathfinder and Starfinder. Well, that was going to happen anyway, so good. They now have a new agreement with them, much less formal than before, so it reduces the oversight and the work on Paizo's side, and it eliminates the need for Archives of Nethys to report any royalties. Cool. They're basically acknowledging, look, this is how it's happening anyway. Why don't we just formalize that?
Right.
They've agreed that any art not included in the community use policy license will be removed. Fair enough. But to make up for that, Paizo is going to release more of their art into the community use policy.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that's actually really good for all of the players too,
Yeah.
because that means they can use it. Archives of Nethys will continue to receive PDFs in advance of street dates on the same schedule as Paizo employees and freelancers. Not as early as the full printer files that they used to get, but still, it'll
Yeah.
slow down their delays.
Really that big a deal, right? I mean, come on.
I don't know. Maybe. They'll continue to host original Pathfinder First Edition, and lore and flavor text changes on the Archives of Nethys that are required under the community use policy should be minimal. So it doesn't really sound that different from what they announced in the first place. They're just sort of adjusting a little bit and saying, hey, we didn't handle this in the best way possible, so here's a better way to handle it.
Dude, I'll tell you, I don't know anybody at Paizo or anything like that. So this is just my,
Right.
Feeling the way they handled this, the language they've used, and just, watching things throughout the industry over the years. And I just feel like Paizo is they're good people because this really rings of, hey, I thought we were, this is what I feel like they were saying. I thought we were being clear that we're not against this. We just can't really put a lot of effort into it. And then they were like, but you know what? We took some time. We figured out a way that we can support it as best we can. I just feel like there's another company out there, another bigger company out there that produces fantasy games who probably wouldn't have gone back on this at all. They would have said their
McDonald's?
statement and
Wendy's?
moved on. It's McDonald's, but upside down.
Oh, yes.
Would have just moved on, right? They would have been
Yeah.
like, oh, well, yeah, that's what we said. That's what we're doing.
You know what, though? This goes to, this is a very core personal philosophy I have, which is that smaller businesses are better than bigger businesses.
I feel that way, yeah.
That's not universal because you have to be a certain size to get something done, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like when a business gets too big, I don't think that the individual human beings at Paizo are better human beings than the individual human beings at Hasbro or Wizards.
Right.
In any way. I think the individual people are lovely, wonderful people. But when you get too big, it's really hard to do the right thing.
Right.
It's just hard from a systematic perspective.
Well, you know, I'm a big fan of private corporations, even if they not corporations, private companies, even if they get big. I don't care how big they get. If it's a private company, they're generally better than corporations. I really,
Okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying as opposed to publicly traded corporations.
right.
Yeah, because they're responsible for different things. Their incentives are different.
Right.
Yeah, because the CEO of a privately held company is not a better person than the CEO of a publicly held one, but they have different incentives, so they do things better.
Right. If
Generally speaking.
if you're not publicly traded, you can make ethical decisions that will cost the company some money. You can do that.
Yeah,
But if
legally you cannot always do that if you're if you're traded on the Dow.
That's correct.
You know,
correct.
because you have a fiduciary duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be sued. You're like, I can't believe that you let all those children live. We are losing money.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's my point. And
Why
I've
did
seen
you
it
take
first.
all the toxins out of the drinking water that cost us $1?
And I'll tell you, I felt it firsthand when I worked as a contractor for the government. I worked for a company that went public, and as soon as they went public, every year my life got worse. Like working for that company.
Man.
It just every decision they made was, oh, I see you're saving money and you're screwing me. Great, another year where I get screwed.
So, I mean, the thing here with what Paizo is doing, I agree with you, though. I mean, I think they handled it well. It's a shame that I don't currently play Pathfinder or Starfinder. I don't have a problem with the games. I've played them. They're fun. It's just one of those you know what you know kind of things. And they just don't speak to me personally, which bums me out because I really do like the company a lot.
Yeah.
So
I don't play those games either. I'm not a guy who likes level systems where you're like, I'm level 6 or I'm level 7. I like the point-based systems. So that's what we generally play. But if I played if I were going to go into the level-based type systems, I would absolutely I'd absolutely go with Paizo before I would go with Wizards. I think I would.
I think I'd probably, if anything, if I was going to go to that kind of thing, I think RuneQuest is where I'd go.
Ooh, that's a nice option too. Yeah, okay.
But I don't know.
There are other options.
I just joined somebody else's campaign for Twilight 2000.
Oh.
Because I was like, I'm the forever DM, right? I need to play in someone else's campaign, so I'm really happy about this. And he is running a Twilight 2000 campaign based on the movie Red Dawn.
Oh, nice. Oh,
how perfect
awesome.
is that?
That is great. That is great.
So I'm practicing my Wolverine screams and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, I just want to play smaller, indier games. Yeah.
We're playing Cyberpunk 2020 right now. That's our campaign. I'm loving it.
Beautiful. So Paizo, come out with some stuff that I really want to play because I want to give you guys some money.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for this week. Not too bad.
Wait. We got two more things, two minor things to talk about.
Oh,
we
not
got
minor.
Analog Union. Why don't you talk this one? I'll talk the next one.
The Analog Union. Go to analogunion.com. Actually, so Analog Union is, as we mention often, a collective of independent game designers and developers and publishers and everything else. We put a newsletter out every week. It's free. It's got fun stuff in it. Sometimes it's deals. Sometimes it is just news. Sometimes it's just stuff we're thinking about, but it's always fun. And we're making it so that it's not just a newsletter, it's a community. You can go to Reddit, and there is the Analog Union subreddit, which is slowly starting to ramp up. It's hard to build up a Reddit, so please go there. And that's the Analog Union. So we are going to be attending conventions as a collective. We're doing projects as a collective. I'm actually writing a game right now for Joey Royale's Weird Heroes of Public Access. We do stuff for each other. It's just a fun group of people to be there, and you should peek at us and listen in because it's fun to watch people have a good time together.
Yeah. And just to point out, I was showing this page here. We'll get a better slide. This is something I just threw together last night.
It's a good slide.
But the reason why I'm showing this slide is because if you go to the site and you haven't even joined or anything, you can get the past newsletters. Like you can go to our past newsletters and just get them.
Just read them.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not hiding anything from you. So you can go see what it's like before you sign. But then you sign up and they show up in your inbox, and you can print it out and tape it to the refrigerator and make the grandkids read it. It's perfect.
And you know, as long as you can afford the $0 a month, you know.
Yeah, if you got it, spend it.
Right. Okay. All right. Last bit, real quick. Just want to remind everybody we have a
Woo!
Patreon, patreon.com/Solarian. You know, put up stuff. I primarily head that up. I put up stuff every month. I mean, too much
Look at
stuff.
all those goodies, though.
I spent the whole, I mean, I've spent this month several nights or whatever, but today I spent the entire day wrapping this up. And I'll just mention that because I spent most of the day on this one thing, I wrote a 5 arc adventure outline. So these are missions that your agents can go on, but they're not fully fleshed out. Like you do have to do a little bit of work, but the concept, where it goes, how the acts are broken up, how it should play out is all listed there. So it's really easy for you to pick up and run with. Um, that one I've been working on for a couple months. This has actually been like, something I've been kind of building on for a while. So it's a really big download, but it took me some time to do. But anyway, so we do that every month. We give out a whole bunch of stuff. It's primarily for top secret, but I always want to stress that if you're playing in any modern setting, if you're playing any D20 modern, if you're playing Delta Green or Conspiracy X, you could use this stuff. So, and we also have like other stuff. Like you see, if you're looking on the screen, you'll see More Blood down in the bottom right. We put up beta games. So something that More Blood's not available for anyone yet, but that is the playtest version. You can get it from there. So
Yeah.
check it out.
And for cheap. So
Cheap, very cheap.
Cheapity cheap. All right.
Okay, that is
Wrap it up.
Good night, folks.
Thanks, everybody.